Here's all of my Power Rangers so far in the Hasbro Lightning Collection. But the villains, on the other hand... Like I discussed last time, I said I was going to come back and do a top 10 video about Power Ranger villains I would love to see from Hasbro for their Lightning Collection line. Due to the fact that I have only 2 of the many dozens of villains that they've already done, like Rita, Lord Zedd, Goldar, Putty, and several other villains from like Beast Morphers or so. But I would love to count down what are my top 10 most desired villains from Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection line. Because there are so many to count. Like the Power Rangers, there's over 140 Rangers and counting, and as well as over 140 some villains and counting. Well, I'm not counting monsters because monsters I'll probably do a separate video, but I think I'm only going to do only the boss and general villains from each selected season that I would love to have in my collection growing from Hasbro for Power Rangers. Well, number 10 was going to be Scorpina, because Scorpina is one of the many villains from MMPR I've always wanted in the Lightning Collection, because Scorpina had almost briefly an action figure in the original toy line of Mighty Morphin from the 90s, but it never came to be. But there was a leaked image of Scorpina's monster form being almost an action figure in the 90s, but it never came to fruition. Hopefully Hasbro will give us Scorpina, because if we got Rita, well, via that wedding anniversary pack with Rita and Lord Zedd early this year, Scorpina is another villain from Mighty Morphin, female-wise, to get, to be put in the collection, so that way we can have that Scorpion Lady Warrior for Trini and Kimberly to fight for my collection. Another Mighty Morphin villain from the Lightning Collection that's my other most desired is Rita's skeletal brother, Rito Revolto. Rito Revolto, I used to have an action figure back in the day during Mighty Morphin and Zeo, but I never really thought that, since Rito had an action figure long and long ago, but it's been 25 years since Mighty Morphin Season 3 and Zeo, and you would think 25 years later, maybe when Hasbro will finish up more Rangers, they'll probably go back to villains and give us finish up the villains for MMPR. Like Scorpina last time, I want to see them do Rito, because he's another villain to come with Rita, because Rita and Rito are brother and sister. So not only that, you should also, maybe what they'll probably do when they do Rito is make his skeleton body, parts of his body be rubber, like the shoulder pads. Everything else is just matte, hard plastic to his body. But nevertheless, I hope they also give a good paint job on him and some other details to him and make it more authentic than, the original 90s toy. While the original 90s toy, one half of his skeleton body was like, white, and half of his is the military camo color on the other half of his body. But I want to see them keep it more accurate. Just like how when you look at the Rita Revolto character render in the Legacy War game, that Rito looked very more menacing in the video game as opposed to an action figure from 25 years ago. Number 8 is Ecliptor from Power Rangers in Space. Since we're getting Astronema already, I was thinking about Astronema's right-hand man, Ecliptor, because Ecliptor was another villain from Power Rangers I used to have as an action figure a long time ago, back when In Space was on the air. Now, due to the fact we already have the Psycho Rangers already, Astronema is coming out with Andros in that 2-pack. Ecliptor would not make a good, would make a, not so bad consideration, since we're almost halfway done with the In Space with the Lightning line. We only have Yellow and the Psycho Rangers. We need to finish up everybody else. But for the villains, Ecliptor would go nicely well with Astronema, since I'm about to get that 2-pack soon. But Ecliptor would make a great Lightning Collection addition for my villain collection of Power Ranger villains with, the Psycho Rangers, and when I get Astronema. And I really hope that, Ecliptor will also come with a rubber cape, because when I had the original 90s toy of Ecliptor, Ecliptor had a hard cover, like, hardened plastic cape to him from the original 1998 toy figure, but the Hasbro figure will give him more of a rubber, will give his cape a more rubber feel to it. And I hope they put some great detail on Ecliptor when they ever do give him an action figure for the very first time in 22 years, and see how that turns out. And maybe, or what they could do in consideration is give Ecliptor his 2 other forms. His cyber form when later on, the later half of In Space, when he and Astronema had the cybernetic implants, and also probably Red Ecliptor from that one-off episode when Ecliptor was battling the Silver Ranger and his Mega Winger, and when he destroyed the Delta Megazord, and from the episode The Impenetrable Web. That would be great, but you can only probably just do one Ecliptor at a time, just one version of him at a time. His regular form, his cyber form, and his red form. Or just do it all in 3. In a 3-pack or something. Number 7 is from Power Rangers Dino Charge, Snide. Well, I do like Sledge, Poisandra, and the rest, but Snide is another villain from Dino Charge I would like to see in the Lightning collection, because I do have the 5-inch action hero figure of him from Dino Superchargers toy line, but a Lightning collection treatment for him would do just nicely, because I like Snide, and if they would give him and put him in a 2-pack, probably with Heckle, like Heckle and Snide as a 2-pack will do great. But or just do Snide by himself and Heckle as a separate release or something. That would be great too, because again, Dino Charge had some great villains, and Snide is one of my all-time favorite up there. But even though with Sledge and Poisandra and Fury, but Snide is my most desired one. Number 6 is Zeltrax from Power Rangers Dino Thunder, because because it's so obvious. You got Snide from Dino Charge, and then you got Zeltrax from Dino Thunder. Because due to the fact Dino Thunder didn't really have that many villains, it was only Mesogog, Zeltrax, and Elsa, and the evil White Ranger clone and Zeltrax's son. Was it Goldenrod or something? But Zeltrax would really also make another great Lightning collection figure in my collection, because I like Zeltrax, and when they do give us Dino Thunder Tommy as the Black Ranger, he would go nicely with Tommy versus Zeltrax, or put Zeltrax in a 2-pack with Tommy as the Black Dino Ranger if need so, or release Zeltrax in a 2-pack, as itself, or in a 2-pack with Tommy. So there's both ways they can do that when they give us, Zeltrax when we get around him. Number 5. Okay, so there's only 5 more I can do and pick what are my top 10 most desired Power Ranger villains. Okay, so number 5, from Wild Force, I have Zen-Aku, because I really want to bring up Zen-Aku in this, because Zen-Aku never had an action figure of him during Wild Force. Although his action figure, I don't think they ever did do an action figure of him when Bandai did him, but I feel like his action figure was kind of rare or something like that. But Zen-Aku will be a great action figure and addition to the Lightning collection to get some Wild Force representation for Rangers and villains going, because right now Hasbro has not done not a single Wild Force character to represent that season in the Lightning line. But Zen-Aku, I would love to see in the Lightning collection figure. Some of his armor pieces, his wolf armor pieces can be rubber. Everything else is just what it is, and his crescent blade can be translucent or something. Give him a much awesome lightning piece to him, because also Zen-Aku. There's so many ways you can do Zen-Aku for the Lightning collection line, like the other villains, like have him by himself or have him bundled with Merrick as the Lunar Wolf Ranger in a 2-pack, for some Wild Force representation. Just like the display based on the episode Unfinished Business, which I already did a fan commentary of. If you haven't seen my fan commentary on Unfinished Business, check it out, it's on my channel now. But maybe they can do an Unfinished Business based 2-pack of Zen-Aku versus the Lunar Wolf Ranger in order for us to get Zen-Aku that way, because there's many ways you can do him in the Lightning collection. Okay, so number 4 is from Power Rangers Ninja Storm. Wow, since there's so many villains, Lothor, Capri and Mara, Shubo, Zurgane, Well, I guess Zurgane, I guess. I wanted to put Motordrome on the list, but he can wait. But I really would love to have Zurgane as an action figure from Hasbro for Ninja Storm representation for the villains. I mean, nothing wrong with Lothor in them, but Zurgane, I used to have a Zurgane as an action figure when Ninja Storm was on. So Zurgane would make a great addition to the Lightning Collection, because I mean, nearly back when Power Rangers Ninja Storm was on the air 17, 18 some, odd years ago. I mean, Zurgane was the only villain figure from Ninja Storm I had, along with a Kelzak. And yeah, I can't believe I had a Kelzak. And Zurgane, would go greatly with my collection, because I always liked that Zurgane over the other Ninja Storm villains. Him, Shimatsu somewhat, Motordrome, and Vexacus. So therefore, that's another villain I would like to have in my Lightning Collection if Hasbro will give us these villains, and especially villains like Zurgane, and also if they did Shubo, they can have them bundled with the Thunder Rangers of Hunter and Blake if they want to in a 3-pack, something like that need be. So another villain from Ninja Storm at number 3, speaking of Ninja Storm again, Vexacus. I always liked it, Vexacus. At first I wasn't fond of him, but his design started to grow on me with a shark face and all this black and silver on. I mean, there was just something about Vexacus' design that really appealed to me for years. And I really want to see him get made as an action figure. I don't think they actually did an action figure of him from Ninja Storm back in the day, but I just hope they do him as an action figure, much like how, all the others, because Vexacus would go greatly as a 2-pack or 3-pack. Either way you can do them, or just have them released as a separate single release, in a wave 20 or wave 22 or something in the future. Either way, nevertheless, because I want to see more villains getting represented in Power Rangers, speaking of in this video. Okay, so number 2, there is a few villains I need to bring up before I get to my number 1 most desired Power Ranger villain for an action figure. I'm kind of torn between what villains to have from Turbo, Lightspeed Rescue, Wild Force, all the other seasons Hasbro hasn't covered yet for the Lightning Collection. I guess from the Lightning Collection for Power Rangers Turbo, I'm kind of torn between Divatox and General Havoc, even though we had Elgar, Rydog, and, well, we never had Porto and a Piranhatron in the Lightning Collection. I really wanted to put Divatox on the list, or General Havoc, I was about to say Vengeance, but I guess Divatox at number 2 for this, because, well, they did do an action figure of her back during Turbo's toy line, but I never really thought that, well, if they ever did do Divatox in the Lightning Collection, of course they have to make her cape rubber and stuff. I don't know what to do with her body sculpt, but how they do it. And also her dress, her skirt needs to be rubber pieces as well. I don't know whatever type detail to put on her overall costume, and the gold shoulder pads and stuff for her, and her red neck roof, and whatever with her hair and stuff like that. Because Divatox was the last main female boss villain in Power Rangers to have an action figure, and probably the only one back in the 90s when we had the toys for Mighty Morphin through Turbo, before In Space, to have an action figure. We didn't get another female Power Rangers villain as an action figure again until like Poisandra and Dino Charge and Madame Odious and Ninja Steel and Roxy and Beast Morphers. And Divatox was the first female villain to have an action figure, even though Rita was supposed to get an action figure during Mighty Morphin, but I guess they figured, well, again, Bandai felt female villain and Ranger figures wouldn't sell. So yeah, I wanted to do General Havoc on this place, but no, I decided Divatox instead. Alright, the number 1 most desired Power Rangers villain, and you probably know about this one, because while we already have Astronema coming out, her successor, my all-time favorite female villain ever. I mean, I would be stoked if they did Trakeena in the Lightning Collection, because You know, Trakeena, like Astronema, she had gone through the most development over the course of Power Rangers. Her regular form, her green armored form, her Deviot form, her mutant insect form, and her final form with the mask on. Trakeena with the mask that's like this, but I really would love to see how they would have done Trakeena in the Lightning Collection, because she is absolutely my most desired Lightning figure, because while I already have Lost Galaxy Red and Magna Defender, but until they finish up the rest of Lost Galaxy's characters, I want to see them do Trakeena in some capacity between now and 2022 or 2023, because knowing to the fact she is long, like Astronema, is long overdue from an action figure. She is my most wanted action figure from the Lightning Collection, because I don't know, or maybe just do an all-out Trakeena 5-pack like the Psycho Rangers. You know, even if it's $100, I don't care if the pack is like over $500. Give us all the different versions of Trakeena, from her main appearance all the way to her final appearance from the Lightspeed Rescue team up in a 5-pack. Even if it's $100 or as an Amazon exclusive, I don't care. Just do it, Hasbro. Do it for the sake of anyone who's a diehard Lost Galaxy fan, Power Rangers fan, and Trakeena fan in general. Please make it happen. You gave us Astronema, give me Trakeena, or else. And I mean, seriously, or else, because I know that I also want to see Villamax and Deviot made in Furio or somebody, or in the Stingwinger. But I really want to see Trakeena get made before anybody from Lost Galaxy's lineage of villains first get made. I mean, nothing wrong with Scorpius or Captain Mutiny, but I really want to see her being made the most. So there you have it. Top 10 main, all most wanted villains in Power Rangers in the Lightning Collection, even though Divatox was an odd rarity. What do you guys think of this list? What do you think is your top most wanted villains in the Lightning Collection that Hasbro will do in the future? Let me know in the comments. Next time, I'm going to tackle my top 10 Red Rangers ranked from Power Rangers. I know there's a lot of Red Rangers, but I'm only going to do at least 10 Red Rangers that are my all-time favorite. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and happy holidays.